Hey, welcome to the Bitcoin Bull. Today we're going to take a look and see what Bitcoin is doing right now and what it should be doing today. And then we'll take a look at some news. Here we have US crypto community overtaking Asia, says Mike Novogratz. China has declared war on crypto as part of this border Cold War that we're getting into. So we'll talk about that. It's bad news, but I think it's good news. I'll explain why. And then we'll take a look at what Bitcoin should be doing in the next several days, weeks, and months from now. And then overlook on the whole crypto market. So let's go ahead and get started. Look at the hour chart so we can see what Bitcoin's doing right now and what it should be doing today. Let's make this bigger. And yesterday, let's move this over in the middle. So yesterday, Bitcoin was right here when we made this video, and I was saying that there's a slight chance that Bitcoin could break here and drop down into this area here, but that wasn't very likely because I didn't see any bad news about Bitcoin. Everything was looking good, and that Bitcoin would most likely be in this area here, which is exactly what happened. And now today, in case you don't believe me, sometimes I think that people think that I'm like making this up. That yesterday that I got it right. If you want, you can look at yesterday's video, and that's why I said that today that Bitcoin should be in here. And now for today, and I always won't get it right. By the way, I mean, if you analyze Bitcoin or stock or anything, if you get it right, half the time, that's not good. You're not going to make any money. That's like flipping a coin, right? Heads or tails. If you get it right half the time, that's not good. If you get it right 7 or 8 times out of 10, like 70-80% of the time, when you're analyzing a stock or Bitcoin, that's very good. That means you're gonna make money because you'll get it wrong 2 times out of 10, but you'll get it right 7 or 8 times out of 10, so you'll end up winning. So every once in a while I won't get it right, which is completely normal. But yesterday I got it right. And today I think that Bitcoin, well, first of all, let me explain this, that this is a very important resistance line. This whole channel, but more than this channel, this whole resistance line here, this is very important because here, let's zoom out. Look at the daily chart, because this is the line here. It's coming from here. This is a bearish resistance here that Bitcoin has been in since this big drop here. And so we're about to break it. Once Bitcoin breaks this resistance, that's a clear sign that Bitcoin is breaking out of this midterm bearish trend, and that Bitcoin will most likely be bullish in the next, for the next several months. So we have this along with, look back at the hour chart. So we have this somewhat of a resistance here, which is from the other day. We have like here when Bitcoin reaches this area here, for some reason, sometimes Bitcoin will take another drop. When it hits here, 2 times it went up, but then most of the times when it hit here, Bitcoin would drop again. So now, today we're in a situation where there's this horizontal resistance here intersecting with this very important bearish resistance line here. So once I think Bitcoin today is going to work its way up here. And then once we hit here, it will be very interesting to see what Bitcoin will do. It could just break right through and keep going up. But since it's like a double resistance line, I think it's more of a chance of Bitcoin hitting here and then maybe, hanging out here today along this resistance, maybe riding it down a little bit, and then maybe tomorrow breaking out. But it also depends on today's Monday, the US stock market opens today. Monday's normally very volatile. Over the weekend, people put in their orders to buy and to sell. And then, so if today, once the stock market opens, if the stock market drops, so Bitcoin could keep going up once the stock market opens. If it's a bad day for the stock market, then most likely Bitcoin will drop today, which Bitcoin shouldn't have anything to do with stock market. It's not a stock, but for some reason, Bitcoin kind of follows what the stock market does somewhat. Because people get scared in general and start, if the stock market drops, people start selling everything, all crypto, Bitcoin. So that's what happens. But if the stock market doesn't drop, we could break here, or if I had to choose what I think we would do, I think we'll be doing something like this today, and then later on today or tomorrow, then breaking. I think that's the most probable thing that will happen with Bitcoin. So, and now let's take a look at this news, and then we'll see what Bitcoin should be doing the next several days and weeks. So we have China here. This guy here saying that China has declared war on crypto. And yeah, ever since we've been in here, in this situation here where Bitcoin has been dropping, China's been talking really bad about Bitcoin. China is trying to destroy Bitcoin, along with banks and Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been doing this. He's been quiet lately, but Elon Musk has been talking bad about Bitcoin in here, making it drop, but not to destroy Bitcoin, because he has a lot of Bitcoin and his company Tesla has a lot of Bitcoin. He did this to make it drop to buy in more, I imagine. And now I'm sure he's interested. Now he's being quiet. This week he has an important meeting about Bitcoin, and I have a feeling that after this meeting this week, he's going to start talking good about Bitcoin, because I'm sure he wants to go back up, because he has a lot of money invested in Bitcoin. But China and banks are trying to destroy Bitcoin all in this area. They've been destroying it. And so that's why I think it's good news, because they're saying here, as Bitcoin has continued trading sideways, that's we've been in a sideways situation after dipping below 33,000. This has provided some geopolitical observations regarding the industry. And so he's saying what we're seeing is Asia sells their Bitcoin, sells off, well, and all their crypto, sells off, and then the US buys it back. So instead of, after making this big drop, instead of everyone buying back in again to make it quickly go back up again, which is always what happens after a drop, it drops and then it quickly goes back up, like here. On this drop, China decided, okay, we don't want Bitcoin anymore. They're scared of Bitcoin. They're scared that it's going to take over their currency, that they're going to lose power, they're going to lose control of their citizens' money. And so instead of, when it dropped, instead of China, along with everyone else, buying back in, this time China they're prohibiting Bitcoin. They're kicking out all the miners. And so this time China didn't buy back in. So now it's taking longer for Bitcoin to recuperate, because we have China, which is huge, which they're not buying back in. So that's why it's taking so long. And China has declared war on crypto as part of this border Cold War that we're getting into. And so I think we're still digesting that. Yeah, definitely think the same. After hitting an all-time high above 64,000 in mid-April, and we were here, after hitting this, then Bitcoin has been consecutively dropping in recent months, largely promoted by the alleged environmental concerns over Bitcoin, which wasn't true. Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin mining is done with green energy, with solar power, wind power, and so mining as well. There was a major crackdown on that, and then we had China kicking out all the miners, all the Bitcoin miners. So yeah, but now that China, they kicked out all their miners, and so now they shouldn't be talking bad about Bitcoin anymore. So that's good. So, but I see this as good news because if there's some people that say that oh, Bitcoin isn't worth anything. There's nothing behind Bitcoin. It's just speculative. Bitcoin is going to disappear. It's a big bubble. It's going to pop. But if that was the case, why would China be so worried about Bitcoin? Why would the banks be so worried about Bitcoin? Why would governments be so worried about Bitcoin? They're worried and they're trying to destroy it because they see the potential that it has. They're worried that their citizens and that their bank customers, they're gonna be taking all their money out, all their dollars, all their pounds, all their pesos, whatever country you're in, or all their euros, and taking their money out of the system and putting it into Bitcoin, which is unregulated, uncentralized. Governments can't control it, they can't inflate it, they can't print it, and they don't want people getting out of the system. And it seems like also some governments don't want people to become wealthy with Bitcoin. They prefer their citizens to have their dollars, their euros, their pesos, their pounds, which devaluate every year. They don't want their it seems like they don't want their citizens to invest in the crypto and the Bitcoin and double and triple their money every year and become wealthy. But I don't want to get too political and get sidetracked. But I see this as good news, and I'm glad that now China's getting out of Bitcoin, so they can't talk bad about it anymore. We can keep moving on. So that's why it's probably taking longer for Bitcoin to recuperate, because the monster China, they're not supporting Bitcoin anymore, so it's taking longer to recover. So now let's see what Bitcoin should be doing the next several days, weeks from now. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So here we have this very important resistance here that we're about to break. Once we break it, imagine today or tomorrow, or if not the next day, because things are looking good here. This is clearly an upward trend here, and also all the drops are higher than the previous drops lately. So everything's pointing in, and I looked at the news. I try to every day explain several important news, and I couldn't really find anything. I don't see any negative news about Bitcoin really. So things are looking good. Things are looking promising this week. What I said yesterday, I think this week's going to be a good week for Bitcoin, and so this week we should be breaking out of this, making our way up to here. Here, let me clean this up a little bit. We should be working our way up to here. Once we hit here, this is another important resistance, because once we break this orange resistance line here, that means, first of all, let's go in order. First of all, once we break here, that means this whole bearish trend is broken and should be over with. And then once we work our way up to here and we break this, that means this floor, that means we'll be off the floor. Bitcoin will be off the floor, which will be very good. And that will bring us into this whole area here, which is what I've been saying, that for the rest of July, we should be in here. And by the end of the month, which is here, which is the 30th, 31st, yeah, right here, right where this green support line is hitting this very, very important resistance line here. Once Bitcoin breaks this support and breaks this resistance, then, which I'm going to give it the whole month to do, all the way to the end of the month. It could happen earlier, but probably towards the end of the month. Once we break here, then that will mean that all of this whole situation here that we've been in, this whole nerve-wracking situation that we've been in, will be over with. It will be over with, and Bitcoin will start getting very bullish. We'll be in green. We'll be. I can't wait for this to happen, because lately it's every day like bad news. We're negative, another drop, and I can't wait to start making videos talking about, okay, yeah, yesterday we went up 10%, today we should be going up 10%, everything's in green, all the news is positive, everyone's talking good about Bitcoin. But yeah, this this will happen from time to time. There'll be times when Bitcoin will be going to the moon, and then there'll be times where Bitcoin will make a dump. And so this is completely normal. Every year will happen. Good times and bad times. You just have to be patient. So yeah, and then let's take a look at the overall market, crypto market. Let's take a look at them all real quick here. Also, if you like this video, if you can give me a like, a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. That would help grow the channel. It's a new channel. And also, if you find this interesting, you'd like to stay up to date on what Bitcoin is doing every day and what it should be doing the next several days, weeks, and months from now, and hear about the most important Bitcoin news, subscribe to the channel so you can be informed. And the overall market, it's like half and half, more positive than negative, more green than red, but more of like half and half. It's like the crypto market in general is hanging in today. So, but I think once we break out of these two resistance, once Bitcoin clearly starts going up, then the whole crypto market in general should start to recuperate and get better. So that's Bitcoin for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. So give me a like and see you tomorrow for see what Bitcoin's doing tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.